Morning guys, and as you can see, this is the first video that we've uploaded onto what will be a series of videos that effectively is us showing you as NICEIC installers how we do solar. That's going to be pretty much from the start of the whole experience right the way through to kind of getting all of the paperwork in place, because this is at my personal home and this is going to be used as our route to MCS certification. The point of these videos is so that you guys who are considering solar, have kind of made a decision but aren't too sure, have had a few issues where guys are saying that there isn't the potential for anything to be done because of routing of cables, costs, etc. like that. So effectively this is not a standard installation, as you will see throughout this little series of videos, and effectively what's going to happen is we are going to show you how and what we do to make everything kind of work in regards to the scenario that we find ourselves in today. So what we have is a non-standard installation, as we would refer to it in the trade. That means our energy supply is at the front of the property, which we will go through shortly. Our potential location for the solar is at the very end of the property in the rear garden, and the interlinking works that's going to have to be done for this to become viable for both generation, export, use within the property, and again potentially MCS certified for us to then export to grid. The system itself is not going to be a huge system. It is literally only going to be a 4-panel system. It is just for us to do what we would refer to as a demo site, so that A, we can go through the certification of the MCS for ourselves as a NICEIC company, and also for us to have effectively a little bit of a demo site where if customers are considering what they want to do, we're going to have the capacity to have various options in the kind of demonstration workshop, which will give the guys the opportunity to physically have hands-on with the physical size of the equipment, the potential that the equipment has, and also the overall kind of workings and setup that is required for these systems to work. With that in mind, what we have behind me is effectively my lounge wall. Now this lounge wall goes all the way through to the kitchen. Inside the kitchen is where our main incoming supply comes from with regards to the DNO and the electricity meter and all the other relevant electrical components. Our main fuse board, the cutout switch, the isolator that we've had installed recently, and everything else that kind of becomes relevant to the whole installation, because this is what we refer to as the DNO supply and also the meter position, which we need to effectively do a fair amount of work to. So what we have here, guys, is effectively our incoming supply. This is our cutout. Everyone should be familiar with this because pretty much every property within the United Kingdom has one of these. And next to it is our brand new Octopus Energy smart meter, which is then connected to what we would refer to as a double pole isolator, which is what we installed ready for the changeover, which, as you can see from the sticker, happened on the 8th of December. So we're now stood outside the kind of main location here in regards to where our incoming supply is, and those that are a little bit eager-eyed would have seen that this is not a standard installation. What we have is a TNS incoming supply from our DNO. What that means is effectively we don't have a separate earth. It is using the cable sheath of the incoming supply from outside of the building. Now the outside of our building I will show you later on within the project, because there's some interesting stuff that's going to happen there. And in regards to the whole site that we are working on here, there is a lot of work that's going to be happening both externally at the front, internally in the property, externally of the property, and also then at the end of the garage / garden and carport area. All of this will make sense over this course of these few videos. We're going to try our best to kind of sort of snippet this down to a sort of 8 to 10 minute video over a course of a series of videos, which will then effectively give us the ability to kind of make these bite-sized bits of information available to yourselves. So that it's not a horrifically long video so that it gets very tedious and very boring for yourselves, and also so that it's a little bit easier for you guys to follow. So we will try our best to kind of relatively kind of compress as much info into these videos as we can, but effectively every video will be based on that specific task for that specific day, and we'll go through all those kind of options. So the eagle-eyed viewers that have kind of got a little bit of knowledge and experience behind themselves and have been researching this for some time will have noticed a couple of things about that box up there. One, it's no longer a box. We ripped it out a couple of weeks ago because, as you were sort of able to see earlier on in the video, on the 8th of December we managed to get our smart meter installed. Now personally, and this is my personal choice, this was our decision to have this work carried out first. We have started the process of DNO notification. We have applied for DNO notification on an EV car charger, and that has been approved. However, that is not as straightforward as it sounds. The eagle-eye viewer would have noticed that up there we have what is referred to in the UK as a looped supply. And what that means is, effectively, if you look up here where we are in our incoming cutout, we have 4 sets of cables. We have 2 browns, 2 blues, and effectively 1 fuse. Now, what this means is our incoming supply, our incoming cutout, also loops through the wall to our next door neighbour. We are referred to as a mid-terrace property, and our neighbour is the end terrace. The DNO have accepted this, and the DNO have planned and have not yet given us an update on when, but they have told us that they will be coming to our property and removing that loop supply and enabling us to have a dedicated supply for both myself and my next door neighbour. No aggravation so far has been caused by any of this, and at the moment our incoming supply comes down through this small section of effectively ply box, and it comes into the property just down below our front door. We have not had any indication yet so far from the DNO or any other parties to tell us exactly what works will be required, and that will hopefully be another video later on in the series. Whilst we're waiting for that to happen, we have decided that today is the day that I am at home alone, so I am going to destroy the house. So as I just mentioned, the partner, the missus, she's at work today. It's Christmas Day. She works Christmas Day because she works in a care home. Big up to all the care home and all the people that work Christmas Day to keep the country going. Fair play to you. Effectively, that means our Christmas Day is tomorrow, which will be Boxing Day. So that effectively gives me nothing to do and a house to myself. The kids have gone to their nans. My kids are at their mums. So effectively, I'm home alone, and it's currently only 5 to 12. So a little bit early to start drinking. So effectively, we're going to start smashing the house to pieces. As you can see, this cable here is 2.5, old school colours, pre-harmonisation. It's only a 2.5 because originally it only fed a small little standard 8x4 wooden shed that was in the back garden. That unfortunately was destroyed by, one for a better word, a very haphazard delivery driver who reversed into the carport, smashed the carport down, smashed the back shed down, etc, etc. That is the reason that we've decided to have all of this work done, because we were given the opportunity to basically rebuild the back of the house. So we've decided that all of this is going to happen based on those events. That 2.5 piece of cable, this one here, is not going to be sufficient for the supply that's required for the new shed, which we will show you later on in the series. And it's also not going to be man enough to handle the actual kilowattage that we plan to have as an import, export and usable amount of power within the system that we're going to be fitting today / the next couple of videos. hesitate there because, again, obviously this is video one. We aren't sure how many videos this is going to take to get to the point where we are complete. But effectively, that cable is the first issue that we are going to have with the supply that goes to the shed. We are going to therefore have to run a new cable all the way from this fuse board. And again, that fuse board doesn't comply with a lot of the current regulations, so we're going to ignore it. So effectively, whilst we have no cupboard on the wall here, and there's a little bit of a space, next door neighbour is a carpenter, and because he's quite willing to be involved in this, he is going to rebuild my kitchen effectively to house our new corner of electrical love, and we will then therefore be able to go all the way through the property. The reason we have to go all the way through the property is because we don't have access up and we don't have access down. Access down, it will become apparent later on. It's only now possible to go from this electrical position and through. So what my job is today is I'm going to be going through this stud work wall with some trunking. And I know a lot of people are going to say trunking in a house is not going to look very nice. I agree, it's not going to look very nice. I have no other option. They don't make radio electric currently, so we have to put a physical cable in. So the idea is once we fitted the trunk in and we can sort of decorate again, all of those kind of things will become irrelevant and it will kind of just disappear. Once we're through the wall, we're going to be there. We're going to have to come through. Nice little bit of trickery pokery there with regards to the actual kind of way that we're going to make that trunking sit nice and tight to the ceiling. Reindeer 1, reindeer 2 will probably have to be sacrificed, but that's not the end of the world. They can be relocated and rehomed. The trunking will come all the way along through, and then this here is our external wall, which again is another stud, and that goes into a conservatory which has a raised concrete floor and a tiled floor. That is the reason we can't go down. The reason we can't go up is basically on the fact of above us is a bedroom, then there's another bedroom, but then we don't have access from that bedroom at the rear of the property out into the conservatory without having to have a huge amount of scaffolding fitted to get one piece of cable up and out of the conservatory and then down to ground floor level. It's not a cost-effective thing. So this is the alternative solution, which is A, the most practical, and B, the most cost effective. Right then guys, welcome back. And I know that was probably a little bit longer than it should have taken. It was about 45 minutes because the penetration through the wall was a little bit of a nightmare. Old timber behind plasterboard, so effectively took a little bit longer than I was expecting it to. So the trunking is now through the kitchen and through the penetrating wall between the kitchen and the lounge. That's all fixed, ready to go. I was going to put a power socket just above the TV here and an aerial outlet because, again, kind of tied in with what we were trying to achieve with the cable routes through the kitchen. Made sense for the power for the TV to also be incorporated into that trunking. Again, unfortunately, the manufacturer maybe, but definitely the supplier has supplied us with one type of trunking and an alternative but same branded outlet boxes. So unfortunately, I can't achieve that today. The eagle-eyed of you will also notice that there is now a new box on the wall here. Effectively, what we did is we found, just whilst we were sort of doing some research for the whole various bits and pieces to do with our intellectual kind of smart charge installation, if you like, so our smart meter, etc, etc, came across somebody online who would 3D print us a little shelf for our meter display. Nothing of any great consequence. I think it was about £7.50. Got given the document, which is effectively the 3D print file. Took that to the local library, got it printed. It just kind of tucks it up out of the way nicely on the wall rather than on the coffee table or anything like that. So we've decided to go with that. And effectively, yeah, so that's me done as far as I can go for today. As I said, it is Christmas Day. It is now 1 PM. So I suppose the only thing left to do is a little bit more of a tidy up to go. We will continue in the next part with regards to going through the lounge, getting the cable in, getting the penetration out into the conservatory, getting that down to ground level, getting that external. All of those things will be coming up shortly. So when you want to kind of have an idea as to regards to what we plan to do outside, we're going to show you about the fixings and all the other bits and pieces we're going to use on our corrugated fibre board carport roof. That's not easy to say. So we'll be showing you all the fixings we've gone with, we will show you all the rails we've gone with, we'll show you the panels we've gone with, and then obviously things like the inverters, the batteries, and all those other kind of things will all be explained in various different sections of the actual video series we plan to do. But if there is anything you want to know specifically about, so we're going to go with, we haven't made a decision actually, so we haven't gone with anything specific currently, but we are looking at either the Solax, the Give Energy, or the My Energy systems. So they will be hybrid inverters with batteries and the capacity to obviously support us off-grid and also export. So if there's anything specifically you're interested in and may assist us in giving us our final decision in regards to what we want to do here, then by all means leave comments and stuff below and we can discuss and maybe even show you a couple of examples, whether that be we install all of them and give you guys the opportunity to sort of see how that happens. That is completely up to you guys. But in the meantime, have a nice Christmas day, enjoy the festivities, and I think from me it's probably best if I just say, do you know what, pack up, it's time to go to the pub.